So I have permission to record, sir. Then I will put on YouTube, send to the link to the EU, and I'll call with your permission.
Do you mind if I keep sipping my cup of tea?
No, please be casual. And the main purpose of this is whatever hard work you've been doing. I'm just reading the history so many years, so that so we wanted to present to European Resuscitation Council and to ILCOR what the work, because I don't know a lot of work IAP, ALS, BLS doing so many years. So I will actually let me see. I have this PowerPoint, I think, somewhere. Just mention few. Thank you, Dr. Lokesh Tiwari, sir, from AIMS Patna, and Dr. L. Taneja, his senior most Indian Academy of Pediatrics, and started ALS and BLS. Thank you for joining us. So the purpose of the meeting is all the work you do to present to the so the members can watch your great work on their own time, because nowadays with the Zoom we don't know, so they'll have any questions, we can answer them. Then let me share and briefly what I did a little bit. I learned a little bit. IAP PALS courses started in 1995, and formal training was launched there. And by the year 2000, they have trained to conducted more than 200 courses, and 7,000 pediatricians are trained. That's from the web's information. This is a PALS course. Of course, this is the history of the PALS. At that time, Dr. Taneja surname there started in 2013, and then co-chair it went on. So the purpose, we have national coordinators are set up from BLS activity, PALS activity, and chairmen, co-chairmen in different cities. Courses are done. They've been doing for many years. And BLS also started as an initiative. Not only you started just a pediatrician, you wanted to spread everybody. Started in 2000. So I'm going to close that and stop the share. Sir, you can, whoever you want to start, Dr. Taneja sir or Lokesh sir, go ahead and grow.
So, right. So every since 1994, when the PALS was introduced, the AHA PALS was introduced to us in 1994, and the first formal training occurred in 1995. So Dr. Janaki Raman had brought this concept, and he popularized the concept of the PALS courses in India. And the Indian Academy of Pediatrics took over this project upon itself to spread this awareness and trainings to the members of IAP initially. So 1995, almost around 70 or 80 trainers were trained for the first time across the country, where the training had begun, and we had split into all 5 zones across the country, and we started working. And then we have a data which Dr. Lokesh Tiwari has compiled and is given you. And every 5 years, with the revision of science and the new evidence gaining up by the ILCOR and AHA, the things that the modules were being revised. So IAP was following those very closely and adapting those to the requirements of the country and our own systems. And we were making a little bit modifications to those things, keeping the the core contents or the core science the same as was being propagated. So we were the methodology of training used to slightly be modified. That's all. The science was not changed. So that's how it was being taken over, propagated throughout the country, and we started training lots of pediatricians. Over the years, what happened was the practicing pediatricians, they started, not attending the course, because there's a 2-day very exhaustive course requiring lots of training and lots of energy, lots of time was being required for people to attend these courses. So more and more students were joining. The PG students, the postgraduate students, they were joining these courses. So they wanted a certificate. So they wanted a certificate for the job requirements.
Hello. Hello.
So in 2010, what was decided was
sir, your voice is breaking. Taneja, sir, your voice is bit breaking. So what you spoke in last two sentences, if you can
You may
repeat.
want to put the video off, then you may get better vision sometimes.
carry.
Dr. Lokesh, sir, you can carry on. Then once he comes in, we can talk. If he takes.
Yeah. So Dr. Taneja was saying that initially it was started for all pediatricians and the consultants, but as it was quite exhaustive and was requiring a 2 days dedicated training program. So gradually it gained most popularity among students and PGs who were preparing for their exams, and they were also demanding for certificates. So that's how our certificate program came up, and that is one reason that many activities which were done previously, they were not properly recorded, and that's why data what we might be giving you is significant underestimate of the actual activities which have been done by IAP, ALS, BLS group in all those years. Later on, all those things were properly recorded, and then only proper data collection started. I think Dr. Taneja has joined back, and he can resume further.
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead, Taneja, sir.
So in 2010, the requirement of BLS was appreciated by everyone, and there was a need that the BLS should be propagated, promoted, because ALS is only for the pediatricians, but BLS is for everyone. The CPR training is for everyone. Every person, every second person requires the BLS. Every person who is standing next to you should know the BLS. The skills of BLS should be propagated to that level. If I want to be safe, my family should know what is CPR and what is BLS. So that was the concept that we wanted to promote and propagate. So that's how we began. And 2010, we developed our own manuals, BLS manuals, and we got it under IAP action plan. And the BLS training for doctors was initiated. By next 2 years, we were on a sound footing, and we started having lots of BLS courses. And then we had lots of people who were trained in BLS training programs. And thereafter, in 2013, we took over the onus upon ourselves to reach out to the lay persons. So BLS mass awareness programs were designed, and it was again taken up by the IAP action plan. Our presidents at that time, Dr. C.P. Bansal, took over the responsibility and funded the activity, because CPR doesn't usually get lots of funds from the academies and the other pharmaceutical companies or sponsors. So, but the central office of our IAP, they sponsored our activities. They gave us almost 10 lakh rupees on that day, on that period, during that period. And we conducted almost 60 or 70 courses across the country, training laypersons. So laypersons course was just 2.5 hour course, where basically it was a chest compression which was taught to people, and we showed them how to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and use of AED. So it was, laying the concept that this is what is the CPR, and this is what is the requirement, and this is what should be the target. And that is how we started working. And since 2013, this project has, continued. The other thing what we did was created IAP accredited CPR centers. So IAP bodies, members would go and accredit the CPR centers. The CPR centers would be physical locations in institutions who would be interested to carry forward the BLS training or CPR training, which not only included CPR training of the institution's staff, paramedics, drivers, security staff, apart from the doctors and nurses, but also train the satellite, institutions and hospitals and nursing homes who would be interested to get their staff trained, and also conduct mass awareness programs or public programs where public used to be trained. And I would put it on records over here that AIIMS Patna was one of the first CPR centers to be created in the country. And Dr. Lokesh Tiwari's team with Dr. Arun Baranwal, they took up the responsibility and took up the initiative to begin and show the path to the rest of the country. And now we have almost 45 CPR centers across the country. So people are joining, and they are taking this forward. And each CPR center is working independently and training lots of laypersons apart from the healthcare providers and nurses staff in their regions. So as Dr. Lokesh has rightly pointed out, we may not be having the exact figures because there was no need for us to collate this data. And since the layperson training
we're not worried about data. We just want to make sure what the work done.
Layperson,
because the work need to be done is if we go by every 12th grade in the USA, we need 1 point some crores of students. So we're not even, we don't even want to go there. We want to go there, we will go there. But the need is 1 crore of, but you have the infrastructure. You have 50,000 army of pediatric doctors can help us their towns. We have 50,000 anesthesiologists, and now the nursing comes. So we want to bring all the armies. So the main thing is what the infrastructure there, what the EU can see, because a pediatrician in a town, he sees so many patients, he will go to the schools, he will inspire them with the help of it. So that's what, don't worry about the numbers. We just want to show what the work, what the research, that like Lokesh sir will tell, AIIMS culture. So that's what, don't worry about the numbers, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Right.
Lokesh sir, you want to start? Or you want to close off, then we can go.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing over here, that was the certificate courses for the ALS and the BLS. They were self-funded by the programs, but then the delegates had to pay for the courses. But for the mass awareness program, we were not charging anything. Our team used to just go and conduct the trainings free of cost for the general public laypersons. So that is what was the model which we have been working so far. Over to you, Dr. Lokesh Tiwari, if you have to add more things to this.
I think you're muted, I think.
Yes. Yes, sir. In this, just to add about our instructors as well, that even in paid courses, instructors are not paid any remuneration for doing this activity. It is purely volunteer work, and that is one good reason why only dedicated people are kind of part of it, and that's the reason why it is so strongly going on with the significant dedication from instructor pool. So
other question is, because we're not giving incentive, it's not taken to the 98% of them. We can only reach 2%. So that's what we have. Once federation forms, we need to make a mandatory rules. That's what we're missing. That's what we need help from AIIMS and IAP Delhi and all the people. So go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Yes, sir. In recent years, I would like to add what the need was felt in recent years for all the MBBS students and nurses and doctors working in various hospitals regarding the training of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So as you know, as National Medical Commission came up with the guidelines that basic life support is a mandatory exercise for all the medical students getting admission into all the medical colleges of India. And that too, college has to submit the certificates or the reports that all these students have done basic life support course within 6 weeks of their admission. So it was not part of MBBS, but it is part of MBBS foundation course itself that has to be completed within 6 weeks of their admission. So with that, although various groups, including Indian Academy of Pediatrics, ALS, BLS group, and ISA, they were kind of working behind this to bring this important thing as mandatory component of MBBS teaching program. So once this came, we were ready with the program for MBBS students to get foundation training on basic life support. And with that, we launched in 2019-20, we started it with our own like the videos and training material that was available for BLS provider course. We we tailor-made a short course for students, and we started doing it for various medical colleges. So in that year, around 11,000 students were trained on basic life support foundation, 2019-20. And then in 2021, as this pandemic was going on, there was no much physical work, offline work, but we took momentum on online platforms, and we started virtual training on basic life support. So with all available material, on 1st January 2021, we launched eSanjeevani, that is IAP EBLS foundation course. And that is one part of it is virtual, and the second part, that is skill demonstration and skill assessment component, is offline. So in this, we put all the videos and reading material which students can access at their place on their own pace. So it is around 4 to 5 hour reading material with linked videos, with exercises, and with formative assessment, pre-test, and then post-test. We have also...
Which website is available, that one?
It is available on AIIMS Patna AIIMS Patna website itself. If you just go to AIIMS Patna and click eSanjeevani course.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, keep on.
So this was a significant change in last 1 year, and with that we have been able to reach more than 11,000 students and nurses and other people, and they are continuously taking training without our active involvement right now. Yes, sir. So this is eSanjeevani IAP EBLS, and you can see last updated number on 4th October 2021 was 11,024 people have already done it. But these are just picture gallery where, so these courses have been done across almost all AIIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, various medical colleges, various private medical colleges. State of Uttar Pradesh has made again mandatory for all the students to reinforce the NMC component, and made this mandatory for all the medical colleges to ensure that these trainings are done.
One question, Lokesh, I think the mandatory certification request, which is, certification is much more quality than putting in the syllabus alone, right? Because
yes,
to get the universal, because the AIIMS is higher, the other one. That's my comment. Okay, excellent.
Yes, sir.
So other question, let me move on to, I know the one thing publication wise, you have done COVID side resuscitation guidelines and also other in the COVID, and also when we talked Dr. Vinay sir and Rakesh Garg from AIIMS Delhi, ISA did some, they're planning on collaborating together, and that can go into the AHA intermediate report. Can you mention on that, sir?
Yes, sir. As far as research is concerned, from time to time, Indian Academy of Pediatrics ALS BLS group has published their updates on resuscitation program. Generally, it happens once AHA updates their own guidelines, and after that, as far as things which are optimum for our country, we do basic changes on basic modifications on those things, and we previously published some papers on that. But during COVID, we actually formed a task force and did it in a very proper format that is done by ILCOR, based on research questions and then their best available evidence-based answers. And we did the rounds of meetings on that. 10 questions were taken, and we came up with the guidelines on resuscitation during COVID pandemic. It is published in Indian Journal of Pediatrics. This is a PubMed journal, and this is a kind of paper of IAP ALS BLS group. So it is not individual, but it is a task force guideline. And
question, moving to thank you for attending ILCOR meeting in Cape Town. So even though with the numbers seeing we have a long way to go, as maybe we're reaching in India maybe 5-10%, because our out of cardiac is only 2% compared to USA 40 or King County, Washington, Seattle 67. So by us applying to ILCOR and getting the ILCOR and working with them, learning from them, and of course contributing to them, how much this will help the whole India resuscitation, save lives, being part of ILCOR?
Being part of ILCOR, it makes things extremely scientific, and that makes things sensible, so that the best component, best available evidence can be taken following proper process. So if we are kind of attached with ILCOR, or ILCOR grants us membership, then the significant amount of data that we are creating, or significant amount of information that is needed for a large population. I think this is the biggest population in the world that in one country or under one resuscitation council. Indian population, I think it is the biggest population. So if we are able to get linked with ILCOR, then all these things will be streamlined. It will add significant scientific data, not only to Indian community, but to the world community, because India not only Indian population, but it represents the whole developing country population. So things which are relevant for us will be relevant not only for Asian countries, but for all African countries as well.
Sure. So if we have, for last 10 years, we're seeing the numbers going, but as I said, the numbers are 10% compared to we need to reach 100%. So by the ILCOR and then coming all together, IRCF together, we can able to reach those numbers a little bit faster. So we're saving more lives sooner. Okay, that's what because you are on the ground. I'm here, USA, but you are on the ground level. You're treating down in the grassroots, and you attend the ILCOR, and you know how it works. So that's why we like. So we have 5 more minutes, because anything you want to add there. So both of Taneja sir, that way we'll make short half an hour. We can answer more questions to them later when they choose.
But these are actually political and administrative acceptance and acceptability will significantly increase if we are linked with ILCOR. The country will be following those guidelines more rigorously, and they will be country specific, region specific, best suited for trainees, best suited for population.
Taneja sir, you want to have closing statements?
Yeah. Yeah, by getting into the ILCOR system, what we are going to do is what I see is it is a two-way, arrangement. Not only we are going to be benefited, but ILCOR is also going to be benefited. We are going to be benefited by the value addition of the programs and the activities which we are conducting, which we are already conducting. So what we would be now required is to collate the data, which we have not been doing so far. So we have been working in, bits and pieces across the country, and it's a huge country, and it's very difficult to collate the data also. And our website recently got hacked, and we are facing difficulties, and we are reworking on the website also now. So once we have those things in place, as per requirements of the ILCOR, it will be mandatory for us to use those things. Yeah. And it will be mandatory for us to collate the data and information and then compile them into and scientifically process them into the scientific research, and which is going to, contribute to the lots of information is going to come out of it, and which is going to be used by the ILCOR to formulate the new guidelines. So both things, it will be both way beneficial for the ILCOR also and beneficial for us also.
And also the other major thing, because of we form federation with all the association, like politically IMA help, nurses coming and administrating, and they are going to be instructors. 90% of instructors, all these are EMP, and so all together coming together with the 108 IRCF. Do you think this momentum will pick up more pace with all together? Both can mention.
I think that is the way forward, because in such a geographically such a vast country with different cultures, it is not possible for single organization to cover the geographic regions of the country. Yes. It is next to impossible. So unless like-minded people come together under one federation and they keep working at their own methodologies and in their own methods which they have adopted or devised, and which they are successfully doing it also. So that keeps on adding to the overall objective of the goals of the resuscitation goals for the country.
Lokesh sir, your IRCF federation, can you comment? Then we'll close.
Yes, sir. So IRCF, the Indian Resuscitation Council Federation that we have formed, we have already started working on coming together with common guidelines, common programs, because we have things which we are doing, but we also recognize work of each other, and now it is time to come up with single guideline, and work on that has already been started. We have discussed a few things, questions are being framed, and those answers that are which are applicable for all populations from neonatal to adult, with all various organizations stake, from pediatrics, neonatology to anesthetics.
Sure, all the organizations, pediatric, anesthesia, nurses, cardiology, emergency medicine, medical association. Yeah.
These
your voice is breaking.
Sectors will get collated, and common guidelines we will see soon. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Lokesh from AIIMS, and especially your leadership connecting all the AIIMS, which are pioneers in every state, and that research will be more. And also Taneja sir, starting from the beginning with IAP helping, and we're looking forward to work together and lot more things. I will close here, sir. Thank you so much. I will stop the recording.